Okay. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are joining us from. My name is Nanchan Nangwan. I am the Executive Director of Settlement House Area Training Institute. I want to use this opportunity to welcome all of you to this induction ceremony. Please, let me ask that you put on your cameras. All right, so without waste of time, can we have someone to pray for us? Do we have someone to pray for us? Okay, Ambassador Samuel, can you pray for us?
Thank you so much, my distinguished Prof. Shall we please pray? Father, we thank you for the privilege to converge today.
I am the Executive Director of Settlement.
Thank you for making today a reality. We ask that for every event, every segment of today's induction, let all be well. Thank you for the inductee. Thank you for the panelists. Thank you for the keynote speaker. Thank you for Shati. You take us to greater heights and your name will be glorified. In Jesus' precious name we pray. Amen. God bless you.
Amen. Amen. So without waste of time, we are going to go into our national anthem, and we will only sing it. We'll sing it. We are going to play it, then we'll sing along, but without allowing us to sing all at once. We'll just sing it so that you will not have different. We are going to take our national anthem. When you can hear it playing, just give us a thumbs up. Please, let's put on our cameras. Thank you. All right, so the national anthem, we are going to sing it after the count of 3. We'll follow the we are going to follow we can sing it after the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Nigeria, we hail thee, oh dear native land, the tribe of Redeemer in blood. Nigerians old and proud to serve our sovereign motherland. Our flag shall be a symbol that truth and justice reign. In peace or battle oppressed, and the soul with peace and plenty, Nigeria may be blessed.
Thank you very much for that national anthem. We appreciate you and we welcome you all. Okay, so without waste of time, I don't know if the chairman of the governing body is here to give us a welcome speech. Yes, she is here. Your Excellency, ma. Okay, okay, Mrs. Ankama. Okay, so before she comes in, briefly, I want to use this privileged opportunity to welcome you all to this great induction for our participants for the three backlogs of trainees that we have. Settlement House ADR Training Institute is an institution that is registered for the purpose of training and certifying ADR practitioners in Nigeria and beyond. We train and certify in mediation, which you have done. We also do train and certify in arbitration, which we are going to commence the training properly by next year. We do negotiation trainings as well. We do training in emotional intelligence and several others. For those of you who have not visited our website, you can do well to visit our website so that you get to know what we do. The vision of Settlement House ADR Training Institute is to create an informed and peaceful community by making alternative dispute resolution the preferred dispute and conflict resolution mechanism for life, for business, and for faith. That is the whole essence of the establishment of the institute. And as you can see, our mission and some of the things we do to actualize those vision are stated. But we just bring to your attention the members of the governing body of Settlement House ADR Training Institute. We have Professor Timothy Bulus, who is a professor of biochemistry. We have Mr. Ifeanyi Anago. He is both a construction arbitrator and a mediator, a fellow of the Institute of Chartered Mediators and Conciliators, as well as a fellow of Nigerian, a fellow of construction industry arbitrators. We have Honorable Dorcas Levy. She is the current director Court House. She is a member of Nigerian Institute of Chartered Mediators and Conciliators. She is a member of Nigerian Nigerian Chartered Institute of Arbitrators, as well as a fellow of the Institute of Chartered Mediators and Conciliators. We also have Professor Andrew Akume. Is a professor of law in with Ahmadu Bello University's area. We have Mr. Nancha Nangwang. He is an ADR expert and a lawyer. We have Professor Oladipo Agbola Florenshaw. He is a professor of biochemistry and he is a professor of mechanical engineering. We have Mrs. Roskana Ankama Galadima. She is the present chairman of the governing body of Settlement House ADR Training Institute. and she is also a member of the governing body of the Nigerian Institute of Chartered Arbitrators. We also have Mr. Fola Alade, who is a Lagos-based ADR practitioner and a lawyer. We also have Mr. Oladipo Tolani, SAN, is a lawyer, as well as a mediator and arbitrator, a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators. We have Professor Rita Bosan. She's a professor of English language at Kaduna State University. And we have Mrs. Janet Nanchan. She is an international mediator, and she is the secretary of the governing body of Settlement House. Now, aside from those who have mentioned, we have matrons who are matrons and patrons who are also members of the institute, but we will not go into some we have mentioned thus far. Among those we have not mentioned is Dr. Shein Madaki. He was the former chairman of the Medical Association of Nigeria, Kaduna branch. We have Mr. Oludare Agbola. He's presently in, he's a lawyer and an ADR practitioner. He specializes in IT, and then we have MT Mohammed, popularly known Mohammed T. Mohammed. He is a lawyer and a former MBA chairman of the Kaduna branch. And we have Architect Bulus Jambi. These are the members of our patrons and members of our governing body. We also have a panel of neutrals. We will advertise for those who want to join the panel of neutrals. The panel of neutrals are specialists in different fields that actually take care of our dispute or matters that comes before us. These are the list of panels of neutrals. They are specialists from different fields, from different countries. These are the list. So by the time we advertise those who want to join, if you are interested, you can actually apply to join. We also have our trainings, which I've mentioned. We conduct trainings in different areas of this nature. So that's just briefly about the institute. Look forward to some of the trainings and programs that we'll be holding. We also carry out what we call continuous professional development training under the auspices of what we call settlement hour. We discuss different subject matter that are of value to the ADR practitioners, generally both members and non-members. Okay, so thank you very much. So now I will hand over to the chairman of the governing body of Settlement House. I don't know if she is in here. I saw her earlier, so that she can welcome all of us, welcome all the participants. Okay, she is here. Okay. Your Excellency, ma.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. I'm trying to see you.
Yes, good morning, ma.
Oh, perfect, perfect.
Okay.
It's very beautiful. Yeah, come forward. Jesus.
Admin, can you mute everyone so that can you mute everyone? Can you all hear me? Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, depending on your time zone.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Thank you very much. My Lord, Honorable Justice Edward Ando, our keynote speaker, Dr. Banke Olagbeji Oloba, my own sister, our panel of panelists, Mr. Kinsanya, Hawa Kaka, Kevin Lee, Kati Gupta, you're all welcome and thank you for accepting our invitation to be part of this very important induction. I want to thank all the participants for trusting and believing in us by enrolling and taking this training. It's a combination of our training from the first quarter of this year, and we're rounding up the year by this very important induction. I want to welcome all of us. I want to commend Shati for putting up this training and putting up this induction at this very important period. Thank you very much for coming. I would like to say that you are in the right place as far as ADR is concerned. And ADR has already taken over the global space. And therefore, you're welcome to ADR community. You're welcome to the most beautiful family on earth, where you can go anywhere in the world. Once you identify an ADR person, you feel at home and you'll be welcomed. So I want you to do connections, do networking with one another. We operate as a family. And the way we operate in the ADR community, we don't just operate as members of a profession, but we watch out each other's back. It is ADR that has brought all of us together. I would like to say thank you for accepting to be part of Shati. And I believe after your induction, you will not just keep the certificates, you will begin to practice all that you have learned, starting from the house, your workplace. You don't have to wait until you're called upon to mediate a matter or to arbitrate or to negotiate from the institute. You can volunteer to do that in your workplace, give out your advice when it comes to arbitration, help people to negotiate their deals. It will make you happy and you'll make others happy. Above all, blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the sons of God. Thank you for agreeing to be a partaker of building global peace, building global economic environment where businesses will thrive, where relationships will thrive, where prosperity is evident, because in the absence of conflict, in the absence of crisis, there is prosperity. But very important, it is not a bad thing to have conflict. In fact, if anything, conflict is good. It's good in the sense that it brings about development, it brings about growth, it brings about better understanding between persons and personality. And it also helps to improve production in the workplace, in the industry, even in the house. So all the life skills you have learned during the training are meant to equip us to do better for ourselves, do better for the society, and above all, to do better so that we can have an environment where all of us can thrive. Thank you very much. I would like to tell you that for the participants, you're very, very fortunate to have first-class members of the panelists. Our keynote speaker is an international person. We all know Hawa Kaka. I would like to use this opportunity to say thank you for admitting me into the Nigerian Chamber of Commerce as a neutral. So let me make it public here. Thank you so much. I received your letter and I will do the necessary things. So I'm just blowing the trumpet of the Nigerian Chamber of Commerce. So you can see that we have eminent personalities in this room. Thank you so much and enjoy your induction. God bless you.
Thank you very much to the chairman of the governing body of Settlement House ADR Training Institute. We are happy to have you. It has been an honor on working and serving with you. Thank you so much. I also want to welcome all our discussants and our keynote speaker for today. Without waste of time, I will want to call on our speaker, our keynote speaker for today, Dr. Banker. She is someone that you want to listen to. We don't want to. Well, she has a very long profile, which I will just introduce her briefly, and then we will go ahead with the keynote speech address for today. So our keynote speaker has been a very has been one person that I've been looking up to. Before we met physically, I've been watching her activities in ADR, and it has been very fascinating, her passion to mentor the younger generation. Just briefly about our keynote speaker, she, Dr. Olagbegi Oloba Banke. She's a lawyer called to the Nigerian bar for over 20 years, post-call experience. She is an international associate and the diversity officer of the International Law Section, American Bar Association. She is an active member of the International Bar Association as well. She is a researcher, a law lecturer, a mediator, and arbitrator. She currently lectures at the Faculty of Law, Department of Jurisprudence and International Law at Adekunle Ajasin University, Okumba, Akako, in Ondo State, Nigeria. She is a past national officer of the Nigerian Bar Association, and she is the immediate past liaison officer of the American Bar Association section on international law and the Nigerian Bar Association of the Nigerian Bar Association. She is the past co-chair of the American Bar Association section on International Refugee Law Committee, and then she currently serves as the diversity officer of the American Bar Association. She is a member of the American Bar Association Africa Law Initiative Council. She is the past co-vice chair of the International Bar Association Academic and Professional Development Committee. She's also the past diversity and inclusion officer of the International Bar Academic and Professional Development Committee. She also currently serves as the vice chairman of the International Federation of Women Lawyers, FIDA, Ekiti State Branch. She is a 2022 JAMS Western International Fellow. She's also the past governing council member of the Institute of Chartered Mediators and Conciliators. She is the pioneer chair of the ICMC Akure Ondo State branch in Nigeria. She is a fellow of the faculty and a faculty member of the Institute of Chartered Mediators and Conciliators. And she is also a member and a faculty member of the Nigerian Institute of Chartered Arbitrators, where she trains arbitrators. She has trained over 2,000 students, professionals, traditional rulers, community leaders, and religious leaders in arbitration, negotiation, among several others. She has a long and experience in the ADR space. Please Can you join me? Welcome Dr. Banke.
Thank you very much, Nanchang. Thank you. Thank you. The chair, Shati, Governing Council, the Governing Council members at large, great speakers, and distinguished inductees. Please permit me to stand on the well-established protocols. Good afternoon from Nigeria. Once again, my name is Banke Olagbegi Oloba. I feel very honored and privileged, to have been invited to deliver the keynote speech during this important ceremony. Please permit me to quickly share my my very short presentation. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, so I've been invited to deliver the keynote address on mediators as emotional architects, building bridges through intelligence and empathy. I must confess that is a very brilliant topic, a very brilliant topic. So before I delve deeply into the cross of the speech, let me just quickly, brush through mediation and also generally the key terms that you'll keep hearing during the inaugural speech. As mentioned, I'm a law teacher, I'm a law lecturer. So pardon me if my keynote address is coming in form of a lecture. Thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate your kind understanding. So as we all know, mediation is a voluntary process in which an impartial third party, known as the mediator, assists disputing parties in reaching a mutually agreeable agreement. So as we all know, mediation involves dialogue, negotiation, decision-making, amongst others. Mediation is very important in every society because it reduces hostility, promotes understanding, cooperation, and communication. It promotes peace and understanding. Yes, good relationship among the parties. It reduces the cost associated with litigation and empowers parties to control the outcome of their disputes, amongst other benefits. Mediation is increasingly recognized as an essential and effective method for conflict resolution in Nigeria, not only in Nigeria alone and even globally. Mediators are not just facilitators. We are emotional architects. We build bridges of understanding through intelligence, empathy, and skillful communication. So simply put, emotion is a strong feeling deriving from one's circumstances, mood, or relationship with others. So in mediation, we deal with emotions. Whenever I'm going into any mediation, I go with an open mind. I go with my mediator's mind. I acknowledge the fact that the room would be full of emotions. I am skilled and fully ready to accommodate the emotions, to encourage the parties to freely express their emotions. And I have what it takes to help parties, to address high emotions, to speak when they need to speak, and also to control excesses. So as inductees, I can assure you that emotional intelligence, empathy, and, well, for me, I'm adding this, patience are key, critical to effective mediation. Now, who is an architect? An architect is a person who is qualified to design buildings. You design buildings, you plan, you supervise construction works. And then intelligence is the ability to acquire and apply knowledge and skills. So what is emotional intelligence? Simply put, having defined these key terms, emotional intelligence is the ability to recognize, you pick, you sense, you understand, and manage emotions in yourself and also in others. Remember, you cannot give what you do not have. So for you to be effective as a mediator, for you to be able to help parties to effectively manage emotions in the room, you have to, first of all, understand your emotions, be able to manage your emotions effectively, and then build beyond that and be able to assist the parties to also express freely their emotions, control and manage as may be appropriate, for effective resolution of the disputes that you have been saddled, with, in terms of effectively resolving the disputes. And then empathy has to do with the ability to understand and share the feelings of another. So mediators leverage empathy to connect with parties on a personal level, and this helps to foster trust and openness. Remember, most of the times, parties would come into mediation, with a mind of probably just coming for the first time and seeing, what you have to offer as the mediator. So you have a lot of roles to play in terms of connecting with the party, building trust, building rapport, managing emotions, encouraging the parties to communicate effectively, and then moving the process forward towards effective resolution. Now, emotions play a central role in mediation, especially in terms of defining the scope of the process, the direction to take, and the likely outcome of the dispute. It is therefore important that mediators should be skilled, highly skilled in this regard. In mediation, as I mentioned, you deal with the party's emotion, which may be expressed in the form of anger, frustration, happiness, fear, disgust, and so on and so forth. So it is critical to effectively handle emotions expressed by the parties. You handle the emotions effectively, you provide a safe avenue for communication and disclosure, address key issues. It is very important. And then sometimes, like I always encourage, you may also use humor, necessary breaks, storytelling where appropriate, to diffuse high emotions in the here and help parties to relax and be ready to move on with the process. Mediators are derelict in their roles if they ignore the emotions and feelings of the parties. Please note this. I always encourage mediators to see emotions as something positive. When the parties are expressing their emotions, see it as a very good sign. For me, it is better for parties to express emotions that you can hear than employing silence. That is you do more work, in my view, to encourage the parties to talk when they are silent than when they are expressing themselves in any way possible. So I always encourage mediators. You don't judge. We all know that in mediation, we should not be judgmental. You don't judge, please. It's important to see every emotion as important. It helps to connect. It helps to cement trust, build and cement trust. Okay? So don't ignore emotions, please. Address emotions as they come. The extent to which a mediator deals with these emotions, usually would be circumstantial, and much would depend on the mediator's ability to read the emotional needs of the parties. If a mediator overemphasizes, if a mediator overempathizes with the emotional concerns of one party, you are leaving yourself open to allegations of bias and partiality. In other words, balance is important. It is very important for you to know how to balance empathy in the mediation room. And on the other hand, if a mediator under-identify with the emotions being expressed by a party, that party may feel that the mediator have not heard or understood. And this this may, hinder the process. It could hinder productivity with regards to the negotiation that would happen throughout the process. Again, good balance is critical. When parties express their emotions to you as a mediator, like I mentioned, it's a very good sign of connection and trust. It is important for you to, at that stage, deploy your effective communication skills amongst others. Approach this progress with your mediator's mind. Appreciate the party or parties, as the case may be, for opening up. Listen carefully, truly listen to them, understand without judging, and please don't take sides. Beyond that, as I mentioned earlier, attend to emotions in the room. It is very important. Now, the term emotional architect in the context of mediation has to do with the role of mediators in managing emotions. So now you're taking up the role of a manager. You're managing emotions, both your own emotion and those of the parties involved in the conflict. Now, this highlights the importance of emotional intelligence, empathy, and interpersonal skills in the mediation process. So now I'll share several reasons why mediators are seen as emotional architects and how mediators can fulfill this role. Now, the first point that I would like to share is the need to understand emotions. So here, as I've been mentioning, empathy is critical, and then active listening is very important. Then it's important, as I earlier mentioned as well, to create a safe environment that would help you to build trust and maintain impartiality and also confidentiality. So please note that a safe environment encourages open dialogue and emotional expression, which is exactly what you need for the process to continue to move forward. So under creating a safe environment, when you handle this aspect very well, you are encouraging respectful communication. So how do you handle this? You set ground rules for respectful interaction that would enable parties to express their feelings without resorting to hostility. That is very important. So sometimes during the initial stage of the process, one of the things that I usually do, because as a mediator, it's key for you to walk the talk. You enter the room. Usually, I enter the room without my phone. And then while setting the ground rules, I encourage the parties to, keep their phones away. But, I tell them that sometimes it's important for you to take that important call or make that very important call. So please put your phones on silent mode, okay? And then when parties are, stating their claims, or when a party is talking, as a lawyer, I try to use simple terms, especially when you're dealing with non-lawyers. So when a party is talking, please don't interrupt, okay? So you set the tone for expressing themselves. Okay, party A would speak for the initial 15 minutes, and party A is speaking first. Why? Because he initiated or she initiated the process. So I explained that. And then vice versa. The next 15 minutes would also, be utilized by the other party to respond to anything, that has been said by party A. So you set the ground rules and set the tone for respective communication and interaction in the room. Now, there are times where emotions would be high, notwithstanding that you have set the ground rules, sometimes you might want to address that by maybe taking a break or breaking a joint session into caucusing, into private sessions. So you employ different techniques as things unfold. The overall goal is to create a safe environment for the parties to communicate and also express their emotions. So it's also important for you as a mediator, and not just anyhow mediator, but an effective mediator, to recognize emotional triggers, which means that you should be very active in the room. So you should be aware of dynamics, okay? I believe strongly, well, I know that your excellencies are amazing mediators who have been trained to recognize emotional triggers that might escalate the conflict. Okay, so at that time, you intervene. You know when to intervene. You will know when to intervene and redirect conversations in the room before things get out of hand. So you also manage escalations. When emotions in the room run high, you employ techniques to diffuse situations such as, like I mentioned, taking breaks or breaking out the parties if they are together, or reframing discussions, or sometimes, if you think it is appropriate, you may crack a joke, you know, infuse humor, introduce humor, or just do anything that you think would be very appropriate at that point in time to diffuse the very high emotions that you're sensing or that is being displayed in the room. So it's also very important to facilitate expression. How do you do this? You encourage dialogue. So mediators prompt parties to articulate their feelings and perspectives, and this aids emotional processing and clarification of positions. So you can also assist the parties to channel emotions constructively. How do you do this? You guide discussions towards constructive outcomes. Remember that in mediation, you help the parties to look inwards, deploy the problem-solving skills in them, you know, and suggest solutions that can be mutually beneficial to the parties. So when the emotions are high, you can skillfully assist the parties to channel emotions constructively. So you guide the discussions towards the outcomes. You help the parties to transform negative emotions into positive actions. Okay, so you foster problem solving and also collaboration. The next point is designing solutions. And here you focus on collaboration and also problem solving solutions. And you assist the parties to deploy the skills, the skills that they have within them regarding these key issues. So you facilitate the development of solutions that acknowledge the emotional sentiments involved. You encourage creative solutions that resonate with all the parties. You also build consensus. How do you do that? Through understanding the emotional landscape, and you find common ground that can help to foster agreement and satisfy the interests of the parties in the dispute. Closure is very important. Moving forward is very important. Remember, you are acting as an architect. You are managing the process. So here you focus on emotional resolution. You help the parties to achieve emotional closure. How? By acknowledging feelings and experiences, which is essential for moving forward beyond the conflict situation. You also focus on future relationship building. You address emotional aspects, you know, you pave the way for healthier post-conflict relationship, and as we know, in mediation, parties are very likely to engage constructively in the future if we're able to support them to resolve their disputes through mediation. And research has even shown that even in situations where parties are unable to settle in mediation, the likelihood is higher for them to communicate afterwards in a very friendly manner. So mediation helps a lot to heal the parties. It helps them to reflect and see things from the lenses of the other party, be willing to dialogue. So as mediators, we are emotional architects because we construct a framework within which the emotional aspects of a dispute are acknowledged, understood, and managed. How? By fostering a supportive environment, yes, facilitating effective communication, and guiding the parties towards resolution that can help to rebuild relationships and promote lasting solutions to their conflicts. Now, having dealt with that part of the presentation, I will just quickly go through how mediators can build bridges between conflicting parties through a combination of emotional intelligence and empathy, and the various strategies and techniques that can be applied in achieving this goal. Now, the first strategy or technique that can be applied is the strategy of active listening. Active listening is very important. The first mediation that I ever did, when I was going into the mediation, I called one of my mentors and I said, "Sir, I have a mediation tomorrow. What advice will you give me?" He said, "Listen, listen, listen, and listen." I called the second mentor. She said, "Listen, listen, and listen attentively." Listening in mediation is critical, and not just anyhow. I mean, you don't just listen as if you're listening to a normal conversation that you're having with a friend or a colleague. Full attention is required in mediation. We listen to both the spoken and unspoken words in the room, both verbal and non-verbal communication. It's very important. We pay attention to the body language. We pay attention to every information, written and documentary, that has been shared or that is being shared by the parties, and we keep thinking forward. Now, while communicating effectively, while listening actively in mediation, it is very important for mediators to demonstrate your concern. Let the parties understand that their concerns are that you can hear them. Let them know that you hear them, you understand them, and their concerns are very valid and important. It's very critical. It helps to connect. It helps to build trust. Then reflective listening is very important as well. Here you paraphrase, you summarize what the parties have said. You confirm your understanding and help clarify misunderstandings where there is any. Now, empathetic understanding is also critical. You validate emotions by acknowledging and validating the feelings of each party. Mediators create an atmosphere of respect, understanding. You demonstrate sensitivity to the parties' experiences. Then perspective taking is important. Mediators encourage parties to see situations from the other parties. You help them to see things from the lenses of each other, to see things from the perspective of the other party. You foster mutual understanding, and that helps to reduce hostility. It's critical, like I mentioned earlier, to create a safe environment. It's always very important. So, like I said, you set ground rules, you build trust, you build rapport. So you also facilitate dialogue, you encourage expressions, and you reframe statements where necessary. You identify common interests. How? You explore shared goals. You help the parties to identify their common interests and objectives, which serves as a foundation for collaboration and motivation to resolve the dispute. You keep emphasizing collaboration. Sometimes when parties keep focusing on things that the other party have done to offend or anger them, based on what they have shared with you, you may keep emphasizing things that they shared that gave them joy, and how resolving the dispute can help, strengthen relationship between them and probably take them back to the pre-dispute relationship that they had. Emotional regulation, this is key, this is critical. So you model calmness, you walk the talk, you pull the bone by its horn. You demonstrate emotional regulation, you remain calm and composed throughout, and this helps a lot to de-escalate tensions amongst parties. It helps a lot. You also manage conflict dynamics. How? By recognizing when emotions flare. Once you sense that, you intervene to refocus discussions. You can suggest breaks or alternative communication methods if necessary. And this would be among other techniques that you can deploy. So you encourage problem solving. You guide towards solutions. You highlight constructive options. You promote reflection. Okay. And here we're looking at post-dialogue reflection and also follow-up and support. So after discussions, as a mediator, you can encourage parties to reflect on what they have learned from and also about each other's perspectives. You do this in order to foster deeper understanding and respect between them. You can also offer follow-up sessions to assess progress and provide ongoing support. And this helps in reinforcing the relationship building process. It helps a lot. So you can also focus on long-term relationship building. You encourage continued communication. You suggest mechanisms for ongoing dialogue between the parties to ensure that future conflicts can be addressed constructively. You also help them to build a framework for future interactions by establishing norms for respective communication and conflict resolution. And by doing so, as a mediator, you'll be helping the parties to create a more positive framework for ongoing relationships. This is very critical. So mediators' empathy is an essential skill for communicating to a party to parties that their feelings have been heard and understood. However, it can lead mediators into trouble if not handled skillfully and professionally. Empathy can be misconstrued if you do not handle it or profess it professionally and skillfully. You don't want to be seen as being biased or being one-sided. You want to demonstrate that you are even-handed all through the process. So this is very important. Research and practice have established that only the most emotionally intelligent mediators are able to emotionally connect with the parties. While doing so, they also maintain an impression of impartiality and the quality of remaining attached yet detached to the process. I'll take it again. They know how to maintain the quality of remaining attached while also being detached to the process. These emotionally intelligent mediators have the common qualities of self awareness, and emotional self-regulation. By utilizing intelligence and empathy, mediators can create a constructive environment which encourages collaboration, mutual understanding, and effective conflict resolution. This bridge building not only helps resolve the mediation dispute, but also foster stronger relationships and resilience in the future. As new mediators, it is therefore important for you to carefully build the skills, nurture the skills, strengthen the skills in you, and utilize them effectively at all times. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much for your attention, and welcome to the field of mediation and the peace community. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much for that wonderful, well-delivered keynote address. That's very, very great. We really appreciate you. In fact, I saw that it's actually a teacher we are talking about and how detailed the conversation is. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
With this, I would like to bring in our panelists. Yeah. Yes. We have our panelists. Trying to, okay, yes. Join all our panelists so that we can all see them. Okay. Yes, we have Mr. Gupta. Okay. We have one more. One. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Thank you very much, our keynote speaker, for that wonderful presentation. We are grateful. We have our panelists. One of our panelists had an emergency, family emergency. That is Mr. Lee from Singapore. So we'll kindly excuse him. I pray that all will be well with him. Then we have also one of our guests, Mrs. Eunice, here with us. All right. So thank you very much. All right. Mr. Joseph Bata is saying thank you so much today. All right. So without waste of time, we are supposed to have Mr. Adeyemi on the panel now to speak to us. But sir, I don't know if you will pardon us a bit if I can just take my Lord. He has few things to say to us before we proceed, if that's okay with you, sir. Oh, it's even off. You're muted. Mr. Adeyemi, I don't know if you can hear me. You're muted. Okay. I'll make you. Can you unmute? I think all
Okay,
of us.
that's fine. Yes, I can hear you now. I can hear you,
Okay.
and I'm quite right here. I can hear you. You initially, as host, you did not allow us to speak, so I'm not on mute. But I've done so now.
Okay. Okay, my Lord is I don't know whether he has a network issue. So maybe okay, all right. So all of us are co-hosts, so meaning we can speak. Eunice is also here with us, one of our guests. So Mr. Demi, you can hear me, right?
I can hear you very clearly. Very, very clearly.
Okay. Thank you very much. I was initially asking if you can permit us. I told you that I was supposed to take you first, but if you permit me, just shortly to, I wanted to take my Lord's comment before we proceed, but I discovered that it's not, maybe he had an issue. Let me see.
Mr. Nanka,
Okay.
you are the mediator in charge of this process.
Thank you very much, sir. My Lord is here. Yes. Okay. My Lord, sir. Sorry, sir. We just
Hello, Nanchan. Good afternoon.
make your comments. We have listened to the keynote speaker, and we are looking at this new set of mediators who are going to go into practice, and we are hoping that they are going to be peace makers. But we have a concern which has been battling in the hearts of a lot of people. The issue is we discovered that we're looking at emotional intelligence, arriving at justice, and then we discovered that the symbol of Lady she is blind, meaning that she does not consider, she does not see people's emotions, she does not feel people's emotion, and we were wondering how then can uh, the bench be able to deliver justice without these emotional considerations and feelings.
Thank you, Mr. Nanchang. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Mr. Nanchang, can you hear me?
We can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon. Once
Good
again,
afternoon, sir.
I really appreciate this privilege and opportunity given me to share my thoughts on the topic you are considering, which is emotional intelligence. You made mention of the symbol of the Lady Justice, and that to the fact that she is blind. And that is really the case. That speaks to neutrality in the adjudication process. That is why she is presumed, she is said to be blind. But for us as judges, you know that we are not blind in the literal sense of it. That only speaks to your ability to exhibit neutrality in the adjudication process. It speaks to your ability to be able to manage and regulate your emotions and sentiments, to be able to deliver justice. And again, as a judicial officer, you know that when you're coming in, we have the judicial oath that we all take. And that oath speaks to fairness, it speaks to neutrality, it speaks to confidence, unbiasedness, and all that will enable you to deliver justice, which will not only be seen to be done, but be delivered in the actual sense of it. So that is where as a judicial officer, it comes from. So your ability to always constantly remind yourself of your judicial oath is what keeps you on your toes. So, but you know, as a mediator, what we are doing is not so much different from a judicial officer, in the sense that you are mediating conflict between two different or more parties. The difference between a mediator and a judicial officer is that as a judicial officer, you have the power to impose, to decide, and it doesn't matter whose ox is God. You know, you just make your decisions based on law, whether it is fair or not. This is what the law says, and that is the end of it. But as a mediator, you know, your interest is to ensure that at the end of the process, all parties live smiling, all parties go away happy, that it's a win-win situation. So in that sense, the mediator doesn't have the powers that the judge has to impose. So it speaks, when you talk about mediation, the heart of it is emotional intelligence. And I want to commend Dr. Banke, the keynote speaker, because she has done justice to that topic. She has. So, and that is at the heart of mediation, because as a mediator, the key thing you want is to be in charge, to be in control of the process, and to be able to maintain confidence and trust from both parties. Now, we know that there are situations whereby one party may feel that he's doesn't have really a good case or whatever, and you want to play on your emotions. Sometimes a party may try to deliberately want to provoke you, because they know that once you are provoked and you exhibit it, it will disorganize you, and then the process will be truncated, and they will go away with achieving what they wanted to. So that is why it is very, very important as a mediator to make sure that you are in charge of your emotions. You self-regulate, like Dr. Banke said, you self-regulate your emotions and keep them in check. You know, we do that even in court as a judicial officer. You know, we see that always. Lawyers will come and they will want to provoke you and play on your emotions, you know, so that they will get what they want. At the end of the day, they are accused of bias. So it is very, very important as a mediator to make sure that you keep your emotions. You keep your emotions in check, because everything you do in that process, how well you are able to control your emotions. So it is key. It is key. In fact, it is the number one thing in mediation. And after that, then comes the other things like Dr. Banke said, active listening and all that and all that. So the place of emotional intelligence in the mediation process can never be overemphasized. So should take this as the number one thing they need to exhibit, to do in order to be successful in whatever mediation you are carrying. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, my Lord, for that wonderful contribution. So finally, for my Lord, I don't know, what is the connection between mediators and the bench? In what way does the bench promote the activities of mediation? Vis-a-vis the fact that many people, especially lawyers, we have a lot of lawyers in this platform. A lot of them don't believe, some may not believe that mediation is actually enforceable, or the outcome is enforceable, so to say. In what way has the bench help or is helping so that the fears of lawyers or parties or people engaging the services of this mediation may be
Hello, Nanchang. Can you hear me? Hello.
We can hear you, my lord.
Yes.
Temporarily,
So talking about how the judiciary can help mediators, and particularly when it comes to enforcement, it will be a misconception to think that agreements reached through mediation cannot be enforced. What the parties need to do is to take that agreement to the court and have it entered in court as a consent judgment. Once it is entered as a consent judgment, you can enforce it. And you know that consent judgments are not easily set aside. You can't appeal. And even if you want to appeal a consent judgment, it's a mountain to climb. So that is what mediators need to do. When you have mediated a matter and you have reached agreement duly signed by parties, all you need to do is to take it to the courts and then have it entered as a consent judgment. That way, it is final, it is binding, and it is the judiciary and the mediators can collaborate to ensure that mediation is moved forward. You know, this idea of mediation and ADR is something that has come to stay with us. We can't run away from it. It has come to stay. So lawyers are still the ones that are holding it back. But by the grace of God, we thank God because we are making progress. They are beginning to key into it more and more. So that is the area. Once a mediation has been concluded and an agreement has been entered, has been reached and duly signed, all you need to do is take it to court and it will be entered as a consent judgment. Thank you.
all right. Thank you very much, my Lord, for that.
So that is it. Thank you.
Wonderful contribution. So we should know that aside from taking those things to the terms of settlement to the court, you can for courts that have multi-door courthouses or ADR centers, you can also file it in those ADR centers, and then that will be taken care of. So having said so, thank you very much, my Lord, for your time and for sharing your perspective with the participants. We really appreciate your input. Now, briefly for Awa. Can you hear me?
Yes, Nanchan, I can hear you. I thought you said we were
Okay,
going to
thank
start
you.
with
Yes, okay.
Mr.
So before
Akisanya.
we, yes, before we call on Mr. Adem, he's going to take us through what is called authentic mediation for some minutes. I want to ask you two questions before we call him so that you take us through that uh, system. So you have been a mediator and you have been serving currently as the secretary of the Nigerian Chamber of Commerce Dispute Resolution Center. Now, I know that you had opportunities to take part in mediation where people exhibit their emotions among others. So I want you to briefly help us or the inductees just identify in just a minute some of the things, maybe some of the effective way for mediators to the inductees to be able to identify the and manage the underlying emotions of parties, once they are not able to identify it, of course, I know they will not be able to. So, are there
Okay. I have stopped hearing Mr. Nanchan. Am I the only person? Okay. Mr. Nanchan, I lost you there for a while.
okay? No, I was just asking you to help us identify just in a minute, how will mediators be able to identify and manage the underlying emotions, and prevent it from escalating in the process of mediation. And then you just highlight for us as mediators, what are the possible career opportunities that they have, from your position as the secretary. You have applications from different individuals from different fields. Will you be able to guide these new inductees on various career opportunities that they have that they can venture into depending on their areas of interest?
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Nanchan and Shati, for inviting me. And may I respectfully be allowed to stay on the existing protocol that have been well established. And thanks to Dr. Banker, the keynote speaker, for her well-articulated presentation. And I think Dr. Banker has already mentioned most of those things. It is important, and she has mentioned it, to note that a mediator has to develop some important qualities. And some of these qualities the keynote speaker has mentioned. She has said that mediators are not only facilitators of dispute, they act as emotional architects, which means that they are professionals that build bridges of understanding. So, but then how do you build a bridge if you don't know the processes? You have to understand first the processes that you have to follow. You are a professional, you have gone through all the theoretical education of knowing what a mediator is and the role that the mediators serve in the dispute resolution. So, but then how do you even know what to do as a new mediator who has just been given a case to handle, or who parties have invited to help them resolve a dispute? First and foremost, and I think the keynote speaker mentioned it, is that ground rules has to be set. This can help, it's one of the techniques one of the techniques, because if a mediator identify to parties that, okay, this is a process that we're going into, and that we need to have ground rules, and everybody has to respect the ground rules. It's one of the, it's a technique that has proven to be very effective for mediators to understand and identify those emotions. And she has also talked about emotional intelligence. And one of the key principle there is the issue of active listening. And a mediator must actively listen, must be fully engaged in the process, so that you be observant. Because if you're not listening, a mediator will have to listen body, mind, and soul. Everything. When she talked about you being there, and you're attached and also detached from the dispute. You're attached to the dispute because you're the one to drive the process, the conciliation process. And then you are detached because you cannot make it a dispute about yourself. So this means that the mediator has to actively listen, be there at the moment, hear what the parties are saying, and observe. It is important to observe both verbal and non-verbal cues. These are skills that a mediator must have. A mediator must learn and must nurture over time. You must be able to pay attention to body language, to tone of voices, and even to facial expressions, because this will help you to identify what are those hidden emotional triggers. Unless you are able to observe each party from party A to party B, it will be difficult for you to recognize what the person is saying from their facial expression, from even the tone of voice, whether it goes up or it comes down. And this will help you to manage the early triggers before it goes into full dispute or even move into impasse. Another thing that the mediator must also know and observe is asking questions. You know, it is important for a mediator to know the kind of questions to ask. And usually it is an open-ended question. You know, you bring your communication, your communication skill to bear by being able to ask the kind of question that allows the parties to express their own perspectives of about the dispute. Because the truth is, if a mediator is unable to observe these emotions like griefs, like humiliation, insecurity, anger, worry, it will be difficult for the mediator to even understand the dispute. You have to ask questions, and asking questions will help the mediator to understand. Asking the question will help the mediator to understand exactly what the parties even feel about the dispute. What is their interest? What is their positions about it? So these questions, asking questions, yes, and then encouraging parties to voice out their emotions, and so that you'll be able to observe, will help a long way. This is in addition to what the keynote speaker has already identified, the escalation techniques and the rest. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So can you briefly mention some of the career opportunities open to the inductees?
Okay, yes, thank you.
If we have up to 5, can you mention up to 5 among others, so that
Okay, I'll briefly mention, I'll start by saying that mediators who are either lawyers or non-lawyers have the opportunity to practice as private practitioners in mediation. These days, we've seen a lot of people have their own mediation centers where they focus on helping parties to build the bridges. So mediators can have service, they can render services such as family dispute resolution, workplace dispute resolution, commercial, community dispute resolutions in their individual capacities, either as lawyers or as non-lawyers. Also, you know, mediation advocacy is one important role that the mediators can also venture into. A lot of lawyers, like you, my lord, identified, do not even understand what role they can play as mediation lawyers, that they can be mediation advocates, standing to help their clients to present their cases before a mediator. So not only being an advocate in the court, you can also be an advocate in a mediation proceeding. An advocate in a mediation proceeding where you argue or you help the mediator in identifying those issues and also brainstorming results, that's the possible results. Mediators can also act as, they can also do training and capacity building, for instance. Yes, this is one of the things Shati is doing. And the whole faculty is broadening. So mediators have opportunity to embark on trainings, developing skills, their own skills, and other people's skills who are interested in becoming mediators also. And for corporate offices, having a mediator is also like having a negotiator, right? So mediators have opportunity to act as negotiators in their organizations, as corporate organizations. So ADR consultancy is one of the things that mediators can also do, acting as ADR consultants, both for corporate and commercial settings, and being listed in the panel of ADR professionals as mediators is another opportunity available. Also, Dr. Banker is a law lecturer, and I believe she teaches mediation as one of them. So that is another opportunity for mediation practitioners. They can be law teachers, law lecturers, and so on. I think I've been able to mention up to 5.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I hope the new inductees are listening. This is a great opportunity. I will come back to you, Hawa, for a final question. But before then, we have our very own Adeyemi Akisanya. He has something very, very important to share with us. You know, as we pursue the course of mediation, we have considered the issue of ethics and how to maintain the highest professional standard as mediators. Mr. Adeyemi, who is a CEDA accredited mediator, is going to take us through what we call authentic mediation. Mr. Adeyemi, I don't know if you can hear me.
I can very certainly hear you, and I'm all set for you. Anytime you're ready for me.
All right, so we are trying to set the mind of these mediators to become professionals and to be very professional in what they do. And so there is this concept of authentic mediation, which we have been talking about for a while. I want to ask you to briefly discuss this concept of authentic mediation as we prepare the hearts of these new inductees in the course of their practice.
Thank you very much, Nakai, and thank you very much to Settlement House for inviting me. I also want to recognize with great respect members of the judiciary that may be present, especially Honorable Justice who spoke earlier. All respect, and I also greet my fellow panelists as well as the keynote speaker, Dr. Olagbegi Oloba, who delivered an excellent and brilliant presentation of mediation. Now, in my
Sorry, sir, I don't know if you can be more. You can be more louder than this. Can you be?
Okay. How is it now?
I think it's okay now.
You can hear me better now. Okay.
Yes.
Great. I was being sophisticated.
Right.
All right. In my earlier conversations with you, I mentioned the fact that I wanted to look at emotional intelligence from the perspective of what I term authentic mediation. And to a large extent, authentic mediation is a term which I have coined, and I'll explain that as I speak quite briefly this well, now afternoon, and as I speak to our new mediators, or at least our inductees, I'd like to first of all congratulate all of you for having passed through the process you went through and having been found qualified to continue. Now, first of all, a quick note, I'm going to talk about what I mean by authentic mediation, and I want to say this as a practical note to both of you. Although mediation is a settlement of two parties in dispute, I want you to understand that it is not within it is not without its own, what I call rules and principles. And it is not just a matter of settling a quarrel, and it's not just a matter of compromise for compromise's sake. Sometimes mediators miss that point, and I have overheard mediators sometimes in a mediation process and they're just saying to the other party, guys, you've got to look at this compromise. Mediation is give and take, try and settle, try and do this. And also you sometimes discourage them by saying to them, if you go to court now, you're going to take 5 years, 10 years to save the time now. Give a little bit something, and so on and so forth. And I want to say this, that the role of a mediator is not that of one who begs. It's not one of that. While we encourage parties to settle, I want you to understand that it is not settlement by force, and it is not settlement at all costs, and it is not compromise at all costs. In fact, a few days ago, I had a conversation with a friend of mine where I was explaining to them that in a particular mediation which I was involved in, we actually came to a resolution in which none of the terms were either changed or compromised, because that was not the underlying interest of the party. We were able to address the things that were a little bit more important, and in fact, at the end of the day, it seemed as if, in fact, what they were settling among themselves was even higher than where they started from. And that is one of the reasons why I refer to the term authentic mediation. I say that mediation is not just settlement of quarrel. Anybody can. The man on the street who calls two people who are quarreling and stops them is not a mediator. He's a peacemaker. He's whatever it is, but that is not a mediator. Mediation is a specialized thing. It is a specific thing. It is something for which you must get the necessary skills. Now, I want you to understand the following three things. That mediation, submission to mediation may be voluntary, and there may be few or no other options open to the party. But I want you to understand that notwithstanding, this is still voluntary. Now, sometimes there is argument that, okay, if you have been directed by a court to mediation, is that still voluntary? Don't misunderstand that. The direction by a court to mediation is part of the civil process. but the actual mediation itself remains voluntary. If a party refuses to participate, they may find some consequences from the judiciary, but the courts have not taken away the independence and the voluntariness of mediation. It has encouraged them to mediate. Number two, I want you to understand that if mediation is what mediation is supposed to be, then the responsibility for the successful outcome must reside in the party, not in the mediator. The responsibility for the successful outcome must reside in the party. That responsibility and the relevant power is not and has not been delegated to a third party, certainly not to the mediator. Now, I say this because sometimes, again, as you continue your practice, and I do wish all of you the greatest success in the years ahead in your practice as mediators, I want you to understand this, that a true mediator must always resist the temptation to take over the process. It's sometimes easy, and you are going to come across processes where parties are going to turn to you and say, so, Mr. Mediator, well, help us. So what do you think? And many mediators fall into that trap. And they immediately say, well, since you asked my opinion, I'm going to do this. Now, I'm going to suggest this. Now, fortunately or unfortunately, AMA 2023 has a provision that says a mediator may suggest. And sometimes parties may immediately take that up as meaning, as soon as they get in, they start acting as adjudicators or start acting as conciliators. Remember, you are not an adjudicator, you are not a conciliator, you are not a quarrel settler. You are what? You are a mediator. That's what you are. So even if you must get the point of suggestion, it must be very sparingly used. Now, in order to be able to achieve authentic mediation, as I call it, I must congratulate Nanchang and the administration of Shati for talking about emotional intelligence, because emotional intelligence, as our keynote speaker very brilliantly explained to us, is actually the ability to recognize, to understand, and to manage our own emotions as well as the emotions of others. And it is important to apply this effectively if you are going to have authentic mediation. Note, what I'm saying to you is important because fortunately you're starting at the bottom. Now, some of you have been probably doing some mediation before this course. I don't know what was in your curriculum exactly, but I always want to take the liberty to say to persons that, look, if we are not careful, if we do not practice mediation authentically, you know what will happen? 5, 10 years from today, mediation will die because we make nonsense of it. And already now, everybody is rushing into mediation because they think it's simple, it's straightforward, it's just an application of your ability to make peace. No, we are peacemakers, we are bridge builders, but we are above all of that, first and foremost, mediators. And therefore, it is important to note this thing. Now, some of the things that I'm going to refer to, Dr. Olagbegi Oloba, I hope I'm right about that. I think I'm saying Dr. If I'm wrong, please forgive me, has referred to. And I'm going to talk about just 3 of those skills. Number 1, empathy. Now, if you are going to have a real mediation, you must be able to create a safe and supportive environment where parties are able to express their perspectives and feelings without fear or intimidation. I was very thrilled when she referred to the use of humor. I tell you this, I thought to myself, has she seen me mediating before? Because one of the things that I love to do in my mediation, and without wanting to be self-promoting or to boast of oneself, I am very grateful that many persons who mediate with me will tell me that one of the things they enjoy is that I don't know how you do it, but somehow you just get everybody relaxed and you get everybody smiling or laughing or even relating, because that is part of your work as a mediator. Later on in this my speech, I will speak about one other important element that we as Africans especially can use to create that safe and supportive environment. It means that as mediators, if you're in a room where there's a case that is going on now in Nigeria, I'm not going to mention names, but if I had to mediate between both parties, the first thing I want to do as a mediator is to diffuse the tension. That's the first thing. And usually once I come in, I always make sure that if I'm tired, I will adjourn. If I'm hungry, I will not go on. Because in mediation, you need all your energy. You need all your spiritual, mental, emotional, physical, everything energy. Spirit, soul, body, heart, mind, and whatever it is. You need it all. You cannot afford to be hungry. If you are, find something to eat. If need be, take a bottle of Coke or something, or get a sweet, but please make sure you have energy. Because your energy infects you. When you come in with a friendly energy, with a can-do energy, you infect the party. I'm telling you, the moment you come in there, relax. And you know, what I've always enjoyed about that is that sometimes you come into mediation where ordinarily you should be conflicted and parties should require you to recuse yourself. But 9 out of 10 times, parties have said to me, don't worry, we feel comfortable with you. And it is up to you as the mediator to create that environment. Now, how you do that? Madam Olagbegi Onoba, I said, Madam, please forgive me because I said doctor the other time. I don't want to offend.
No problem, sir. You're very safe, sir. Thank you very much, Your Excellency.
Thank you very much. Now, you mentioned the fact that you need to ensure that parties are comfortable with you. You see, because it's one of the things you need to do as you come in, you must be very observant. When you find those inequalities, you need to diffuse it. And sometimes, I'll give you a practical example. I did a mediation once, where one party came in, he had his lawyer with him and his wife on the other side. The other party came in with their lawyer who had 3 of his juniors with him and a set of about 11 other persons. So the first thing I said to them is that, Abba, David and Goliath, you want to kill me. And everybody laughed. I said, you have brought the whole village. Now, I've done this. Give the man a chance. Please, can we have only 3 people who need to talk here? But you see, because I said it with a lot of humor, whatever it is, they did that. But why did I do that? Because I needed to create a level playing ground. Because already the other person would feel emotionally and mentally intimidated, and that will affect the whole thing. They'll not be able to perform. So they did that, and of course, we ended up in a settlement. That particular matter we settled in 2.5 hours. So it is important that the mediator builds trust in the process, because by doing so, you build trust in the process. You build trust in the process. The second aspect that you need to talk about is self-regulation. Self-regulation is important. Again, I mentioned to you at the beginning, one of the most important things about self-regulation is please. And I say please. Avoid the temptation of taking over the process. There's some mediation we finish in 2 hours, but some may take 3 weeks. Some may need you making WhatsApp calls to people across the globe. Some may require you talking to different things. Some it may take more than, it may take 2 weeks, it may take 3 weeks, it may take 2 months. But don't be in a hurry. one aspect that they don't tell us when we are doing all the mediation, certification, and accreditation courses. I noticed they don't tell us this important thing. You must be patient. I like the word that the Bible uses in the Old King James. It's called long suffering. Please do not be intolerant. Do not get tired. Sometimes when we think parties are giving up, I remember I was in a matter that involved a major IOC, international oil company with a major oil service company. And at a point in time, the general counsel of the oil, big IOC, said to me, Mr. Kita, we are done with this mediation, we are not going forward. My first instinct was to say, oh, well, mediation is voluntary. It is party driven. If they don't want to continue, it's time to call it a day. At that point in time, I realized that no, that was not it. I said, oh, please, General Counsel, with every due respect to you, I'm not a judge, neither am I an arbitrator. But thankfully, I'm in charge of the process. And if you don't mind, without meaning any disrespect to you, let me decide when this process is going. Okay? And at this point, I still think there is an opportunity for us to look at this. This. And we went on. And when we raised some points and we looked at it, we took an adjournment for 3 or 4 days, we came back. Bottom line, we could have ended it wrongly. So as a mediator, you must be patient, you must manage your own emotions and emotional responses without losing your professionalism and neutrality. But you must allow the parties to work their own solution. And regardless of the statutory provision, like I said, in the Act, and I'm talking of the Arbitration and Mediation Act, please use that permission sparingly. Because you see, one of the things I have learned from experience is that if parties do not own their position, they will not be happy. And one of the things that we're taught in mediation is that parties who go to litigation, someone may win, but they're not really happy. Let me tell you this. If you have acted as an adjudicator or as a counselor or as an advisor or whatever it is, rather than a mediator, and you come to the conclusion, parties will still not be happy. And there's one matter that I keep stressing almost every forum in which I've been, is I've told, especially those who are lawyers, please don't misunderstand one thing. Agreement is agreement. The settlement agreement is what? A contract. And don't forget that there are various pleas in contract that can set aside a contract, and they apply no less to mediation settlement agreement. I'll give you just one example. Many of you may be aware of the plea of non-ex parte. If as a mediator, you have forced a solution to people, and somebody is not really happy, and he has a brilliant or a mischievous lawyer who can help him, they'll move to set aside the settlement agreement on the basis of a plea of non-ex parte. It is not my agreement. It was forced on me. I didn't know what I was doing. The mediator manipulated me. And we don't have too many cases in Nigeria yet, but I'm aware of other jurisdictions where that plea has been effectively argued and settlement agreements have been set aside. So please do not make the agreement. Do not do the settlement. Be patient. Let parties work out their agreement. Tell them, be a referee, be a what you call a referee, a man in between. That's what we guys just a go between. Yes. Okay. So lastly, I want to speak about something which I believe we as Africans may be able to relate to, because we talk a lot about effective communication. And there's one tool of effective communication which we have, which we use a lot in the African context. And what am I talking about? I'm talking of proverbs, examples, illustrations. You see, in the African context, if you look in, I don't mean those of us who have become so anglicized and so Americanized, in fact, if we Ghana, wanna, we Ghana, wanna, do, we really more Americans. Some of us are more Americans than Americans themselves. Wanna, Ghana, wanna, Ghana, Let's leave that stuff. At the end of the day, no matter what language we are having, there's one thing that I find that as a mediator, I'm learning to use. If you don't have the specific proverb to use, but one thing that we find is that in the African culture, one way of diffusing tension and avoiding offense is by the use of what I call indirect. Now, one of the tools of indirect in the African culture are what I call the proverbs. You see, conversations and dialogues in the village, in the palace of the king, they are replete with proverbs and anecdotes, which allows the listener to self-adjust. Remember, I'm talking of authentic mediation. They need to allow the parties to have responsibility for them. Now, if you don't have specific proverbs, but do this, you want to allow the listener to self-adjudge without having to endure the stigma of direct indictment. You see, proverbs have the reference basis to speak beyond perception. They are those people to provide feeling for. It is my people who say that the tortoise who cries in the forest. The person does not feel offended, but immediately hears it, but it drops it softly. You see, they are not able to provide feelings, thoughts, or actions of both speakers and non-listeners in, and this is the underlying thing, you want to do it in a safe, non-threatening way. You're dealing with a family thing and say, well, before I have to say that, no matter that, the okra plant will never be taller than this plant. Yeah, that's nothing. You've offended nobody. But you see, the moment you speak to that person, they know what you are saying and they're able to self-adjust and self-regulate. You see, these are aspects of emotional intelligence you must be aware of. Don't lose your Africanness. Don't lose your Nigerianness. Let us speak English by all means. Si c'est possible, il faut parler français, c'est nécessaire, c'est possible. Il faut être bilingue. But above all, we are Africans, we are Nigerians. Let us look inward and do not do things that are natural to us, because we will get there. Now, proverbs convey wisdom, they convey truth. They are a discovery of ideas as well as life lessons and several non-aggressive functions. And the advantage of them is that they are able to communicate without ruffling feathers or otherwise troubling the waters. They convey wisdom, truth. They are non-aggressive. Maybe another way to put it is as follows. That it enables you to tell the truth without being aggressive. If you like, you can call the use of proverbs or similar things, if you like, as politeness or a peace-maintaining strategy. No matter how funny the issues were that arose, they can be discussed. You see, once there is no issue, remember, at the beginning of a mediation, you would have created an environment. You would have made your rules. Don't be rude. Speak politely. Speak only when you're asked to speak, and so on and so forth. What you want to do is to avoid tension. And Proverbs of Peace help to reduce all the issues into simple points. that could be debated and considered without excessive emotional baggage. I caught a flash in the chat. Can you hear me clearly? Someone said my audio was low. I've gone low again. I've raised it again. I want to avoid feeling like I'm shouting. Is it clear now?
Yes, I can hear you as you round up. Yes, sir.
Yes, okay. Yes. Now, this simplicity lowers the temperature of conflict and smoothens the way of peace. It is akin to reframing, it's akin to effective listening, it is akin to creating an environment of peace. So when you do all of this, when you combine all of this in different ways, and there are other strategies that you use, I've limited the strategy in doing an authentic practice of mediation. I've limited it to the area that deals with emotional intelligence. There are other things that we use, questioning properly, and so on and so forth. There are so many. I mean, I'm not the only speaker this afternoon. I'm going to shut my mouth. People who know me know that whereas some people, their virtue in life is that he's not a man of many words. I regret to say to you that I am a man of many words. And even I have surprised myself that, believe it or not, I finished. And I come to the close. So once again, I want to thank you for listening to me and enduring my voice. I want to thank Nantan once again for inviting me. And I want to wish all of you in your practice of mediation, go out there. Power gave you various ideas as to what to do with your mediation. Please don't limit yourself to just the panels of the neutral. Don't limit yourself only to training. Training is good, but don't limit yourself to that. Building a practice in mediation can be a little challenging at the beginning, but trust me, once you get going and you establish that pace, it is a very, very rewarding and very satisfying and fulfilling practice. I've made many friends, people who become my friends, even almost family, because it started off as parties in my mediation. So please look to all the other areas. Don't just stay in the multi-door courthouses. Don't just stay in the various paddles of neutral. Go out there. Let your neighbors, let your friends in the corporate world, let your friends in the legal practice know that, look, you are available. This is what you do. You can help them build up your what I call your value proposition and begin to hold yourself out. And above all, if you're going to be an authentic mediator, mediation is not something you put on in the mediation room. As a mediator, mediation must become your culture, it must be your way of life, it must be the way you do it. Let me leave you with a little personal confession. I started doing mediation actively about 15 years ago. My wife told me a few years after I started that, you should have been doing this mediation from the beginning. I thought she was going to say that I was a fantastic mediator. She said, because it hasn't changed you. You don't talk as much as before, you listen more. So please continue to do mediation, she said. And that's what I mean by mediation being part of the culture. Your friends will realize it. Your spouses are saying will recognize it. Your children will appreciate you. Your neighbors will like you. But above all, by doing so kind of living for it. Thank you once again, Nantan. Thank you once again to Settlement House for inviting me. And I hope that I'll be able to share a little thing across to everybody. Thank you once again.
All right. All right. Thank you very much for that wonderful contribution on authentic mediation and what we need to do. Thank you so much for your time. We really, really appreciate you. We have our last panelist, Mr. Kartik. Gupta. Uh, Thank you very much for being with us. He has been here right from the beginning, and it has been wonderful. Okay, so our facilitators and panelists can put on their camera so that we can have a picture together. Yes, you can put on your cameras. Let's have a snapshot. This I'm pinning all of us so that we can have a snapshot. Okay. Eunice, you can put on your camera. Let's have, okay, that's good. Okay, let's have that. Yes, so 1, 2, I am taking. Wow, this is beautiful. Right, thank you very much for to our panelists. So Mr. Gupta is joining us all the way from Canada. He's a fellow of Chartered Institute of Arbitrators and a mediation practitioner. He's a financial expert, not a lawyer. So for those of you who are non-lawyers, you should know that you have people who are not lawyers and they are doing wonderfully well in the mediation space. Mr. Kertek has been a very wonderful, yes, has been a faculty member uh, of the institute and has been very, very available. Now, we have listened to all that has happened. We just want to ask you a question from your experience, as practical as possible. We have listened. We want to see maybe practical and practical examples, possibly, on how some of these things are. Now, uh, how can the keynote speaker has mentioned the fact that we are architects, you know, mediators are architects, they build and help the party. So I want to ask you, what is this unique skill that the mediator uh, needs in order to excel, in his role as a mediator?
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Nanchang, and thank you, Shati, for inviting me here at Settlement House, and it's been a pleasure as always. As you mentioned, our keynote speaker, Dr. Banke, had very aptly put and compared mediators to architects within the construction industry, right? Um, as she very well put it, the architects sort of build and reconstructs for in the construction industry for people. In mediation, what we do is a similar job. Um, we we help the parties to sort of rebuild their understanding of the conflict. We help them deconstruct, if that makes sense, the jumble of the emotions, what they're feeling, the accusations, the sort of entrenched positions that they have, each party, to reveal the building blocks which is underneath, which is their needs and interests and values. And I'm sure that everyone has gone through the entire course and then they've understood the meaning of the needs, the interests, and the values in the mediation process. So this this sort of actually requires very unique set of skills, and I think we've heard this before during our conversation today. One of those key skills is active listening. which really actually goes beyond simply hearing what the other party is saying. It's about paying attention to the tone of the voice, the body language, how the parties are projecting themselves, their underlying emotions, and those sort of things. It's just about reflecting back what you hear to ensure that there is understanding. For example, it seems like you're feeling betrayed because, so you're trying to understand the feelings behind what the parties are saying, to understand the underlying emotions that the parties are feeling, right? Let's talk about validation, which means agreeing with someone's perspective, right? It's beyond that. In mediation, it's about acknowledging their feelings again, and not the perspective of the person. For example, you say, "I understand you're feeling angry about this situation," right? It is about validating the emotions of the parties so as to de-escalate the emotions and create some space for dialogues between the parties. Then there is reframing, right? You as a mediator should be able to shift the narrative from a blame game or accusations between the parties to a more constructive framework, right? For example, instead of say of let's say he says that he's always late, reframing it as sort of it sounds like punctuality is important to both of you, right? How can we address this? So putting things, reframing things in a more positive way and letting go of the negative emotions. So again, you're rebuilding from what you have. And then again, as a mediator, it's very important for you to build your rapport with the with the parties. It's because it's creating a safe and trusting environment for the parties to have a meaningful conversation, right? And without that meaningful conversations, you will not be able to reach a resolution. Now, this involves demonstrating empathy, respect, and genuineness for each party. For you as a mediator, and it might involve informal conversations between the parties, having caucuses, shuttle mediation. It really there is no holds barred here, just to kind of build a connection between the parties before you start to dive deep into the conflict. Now, if you want to take like a, you asked Ms. Nachan, you asked for a example from my professional life. I was in a divorce mediation recently, and the parties uh, were, at least in Canada, um, they were focusing more on the assets. So the house, there was a spousal house that was there, a matrimonial home, and the parties were hell bent that I want one of the spouses want both the spouses actually wanted that house for themselves. Now, as a mediator, um, my job was to be able to get the parties to come to a resolution. And what I did was, in this particular situation, was explore the underlying needs of the parties. In this case, the wife wanted security and stability and financial well-being. That is what she was looking for. It wasn't the house as such, which was the monetary value of the house. It was her need her need to be able to have a secure, stay safe, and stable environment for the kids. And that is the reason the house was important to her. And for you as a mediator, again, here is the important thing: you need to be able to identify the underlying emotions of the parties.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Kartik. And now, in the course of the uh, keynote speech, a mention was made about empathy. And so, and there is a caution there. In as much as you as a mediator, you need to be empathetic. You have to be careful so that your empathy will not be misunderstood, for something else. Now, as a mediator who has been practicing with a lot of experience, can you be able to tell us how these new mediators can be able to strike a balance so that they will not be to the left or to the right, and they will navigate through and do what they are supposed to do uh, without uh, offending or interfering?
It's a fantastic question, and I think it's very relevant for new mediators, especially. And I'm thankful that Dr. Banke had touched upon a little bit on that. It's a tightrope walk. You really have to maintain the right balance to be between empathy and objectivity, right? In this sense, empathy is a very powerful tool, and you can really build connections between the parties and you as a mediator, and you can understand each party's needs and values and interests when you show empathy towards them. But you really have to maintain the balance so that you do not be perceived as being partial to one party or the other, and you don't lose your objectivity in that scenario. Now, how you can maintain balance? I'll try and keep it brief and give you maybe three ways that you can do it. You should acknowledge um, the feelings of the parties when they're talking without aligning yourself with those feelings or those parties. Um, so, for example, let's say I hear that you're feeling hurt and disappointed, right? So you're saying you hear that the party is feeling hurt and disappointed. This is validating their emotions, but you're not taking sides. You're not saying, "Oh, I understand how you're feeling." When you say that you understand how you're feeling, it might be perceived as you taking sides for that party. When you say, "I hear that you're feeling hurt and disappointed," you are acknowledging the feeling of those parties, but not aligning yourself with that party or their emotions. Second would be that you need to. So again, throughout the course, you may have gone through a process of mediation, and that is what you should focus on. You need to focus on the process. The mediator's primary responsibility is to ensure that there's a fair and neutral process, right? So if you start focusing on the process rather than um, showing empathy or being empathetic towards the parties, um, you would be walking on that tight rope and not falling on the left or the right. This would mean uh, so. What I mean by process focus, I would say ensuring, let's say, first off, that both parties get an equal opportunity of being heard, right? Let's say you give one party half an hour to talk about their issues and needs and interests. You give the same amount of time to the other party. If they want to forego their time, they forego their time. But each party is allocated the same amount of time. They're given the same concessions over and over. So you are being fair to the process and you are being fair to both parties. And they can fairly then present their perspectives during the mediation process. And then there's self-reflection, right? It's you as a mediator need to reflect. Sorry, you need to introspect what what you're doing yourself. You need to continuously check yourself if you're not going over the rope on the left or the right, being too empathetic or being too objective, so as to disconnect yourself from the parties. right? You need to be able to understand the parties and have a connection with the parties. You should not be leaning towards one party or the other. Or for example, or you need to keep a check if your personal experiences are influencing your perception about the needs of the parties. Now, I'll give you a real life example. In one of the recent um, mediations that I had undertaken, um, again, this one was actually one of my co-mediators. um he and this was a co-mediation again in a divorce matter, and we were going through the process of talking to the parties, and my co-mediator suddenly during the process asked for a break. And I was surprised that why we were going so well within the process. We were talking to the parties, we were building a rapport, we were making some progress, and my co-mediator suddenly asked for a break, for a recess. When we went to the recess, I asked him what is going on. He said, "I thought that um, I was connecting with one of the parties, um, but then I started self-reflecting and introspecting, and then I realized that I was connecting with that person because I had gone through the same experience." During So he had a divorce as well a few years back, and he was going through had gone through the same process of divorce, and he had gone through the same emotions with which one of the parties was going through, and he started connecting himself on a empathetic level with that party, and slowly biases started creeping in. So he wanted to take a pause from the process and start disconnecting from the party on an empathetic level, start seeing himself and rerouting his emotions on the objective side, and start following the process than being too empathetic in so as to speak. Um so so yes, I think again, empathy is a powerful tool that you have to build a connection between the parties, but it's a tightrope. You need to be able to maintain that balance between empathy and objectivity. Back to you, Mr. Nanchang.
All right, thank you very much uh, for that wonderful contribution. Finally, just in a minute, I will want you to talk to the participants or the inductees about how to ensure respect and to incorporate cultural differences, you know, as you address the emotional needs and help the parties couch a solution that is befitting for their circumstances.
Definitely. I think it's very relevant question in today's time. I think cultural sensitivity and respect is something that needs to be afforded to everyone within the room, especially when you're a mediator, because you're in that seat. You command respect, and um, you are able to drive respect between the parties as well. And I think when we talk about cultural sensitivity, I think that's also a very important thing now that we're becoming a global community. um, these cultural differences can be very challenging aspect of things if you do not understand where each culture comes from. um, I think mediators need to be culturally competent. They need to be self-aware. They need to have the cultural knowledge before they get into this, starting the mediation. They need to be adaptive. You need to adapt when you start understanding while you do in the mediation, and you start understanding that there is a cultural divide. You need to adapt yourself to quickly pivot from where you're going and how you've been conducting the mediation to a process which is more culturally sensitive to both parties. And then the language again is language is the expression in which you conduct the mediation. So language is very important. Language barriers also pose a big challenge to the mediators. I'll give you a little bit of a small example, and it's from a cultural perspective. I don't know how many of you are Star Trek fans, but if you see Star Trek, you have Romulans and Vulcans. They've been at war uh, through time immemorial. And Vulcans are a peaceful race. They're very intelligent, highly intelligent race of aliens. And Romulans are again very highly intelligent race of aliens, but they are military focused. So when you sit across the table and you as a mediator, and they've been in conflict through time immemorial. So if you're a mediator sitting in that room with one uncle on the one side and Romulan on the other side, you have to be able to understand the cultural divide between the two parties. One is peace loving, the other is military oriented. So one would speak a very different language when you're going into a negotiation, sorry, mediation. One would be peaceful. They would like to have a more sensitive dialogue. The other would be more military focused. So they would want to um, address the issues head on, bang on. They would be very upfront. They would be very brutal, and they would be very straightforward. While the Vulcans, on the other hand, might be going around in circles and not addressing the issues straightforward. So you as a mediator would need to dive deep into understanding the needs behind the issues that they're talking about, or the interests behind the issues that they're talking about. So again, cultural sensitivity and respect between both parties is very important, especially when you are acting as a mediator.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Gupta, for that wonderful contribution. Now, finally, to our own Eunice, if you can hear me. Yeah. Can you unmute? Yes, you can. You can. Okay.
Yes, I know.
All
Yes.
right. So now, having said all this, and I believe that the inductees have learned so much, we have to take time so that we'll give them a very foundational knowledge and a matching order. Now, I have had someone in the course of trying to convince people, lawyers, to enroll for trainings. One was asking, if I finish the training, if I'm done with the training, are you going to employ me? Are there employment opportunities? How do I earn money from it? So I want you to tell us, now that they have graduated and they are going to be inducted as mediators, are there monies somewhere that they can just go and fetch and then start enjoying themselves? Or, from your experience as a mediator thus far, just two
Thank you.
minutes at least.
Yes, thank you. I stand on the existing protocol. I've been listening and taking it from the erudite speaker. Unfortunately I missed the session of my friend Dr. Bankiola Gbegi, but I know that she's highly intelligent and she must have covered the field. Coming back, then I recognize Mr. Adeyemi is a great mentor at Lagos Matador Courthouse, and every other person here. My Lord, I think he's gone. And I can thank you for the invitation to be here. All right, talking about maybe this how do we make money from mediation now that we have trained? What's next? I believe from the classes that we've had, we have a very rich training session. This must have been touched, but I just want to encourage us that they say the Rome is not built in a day, right? It's a matter of process. Putting yourself out there, let people know what you do. And most importantly, we have to be positive. What do we confess? How do we see ourselves? I so much believe in the power of declaration. What every other person is saying does not really matter. Yours means that, okay, how do I? It's about being innovative, putting yourself out there. Like naturally, is doing training is a mediator. How will people know what you do if you don't even post about it? How many of us have put it on our status, WhatsApp status for our immediate family that we are now mediators? That is how to put ourselves forward first. And in every area, in as much that there are people, there is job for mediator. All that we've learned, they are social skills that can be applied anywhere, everywhere. And don't just go by the name mediator alone when you're looking for opportunities. Which area are they looking for negotiator? Because mediation itself is an assisted negotiation. You are helping parties to negotiate. You are influencing people. So what roles as a freelancer, what roles required, maybe like even reviewing documents from your experience, you'll be able to say that, to foresee that there may be likelihood of disputes if things go this way. So early evaluation field is still there to be able to advise that if you go this way, there may be possibility of conflict. You're talking about even in the church settings, there will always be dispute, there will always be conflict. Who can party trust? And you know about the confidentiality nature of these things. So you put yourself out there, you have the skill. We're not going to judge, like the slogan that is going on now. We listen, we don't judge. That is who we are. So you listen. So talking about dispute coach, talking about ombudsman, talking about investigator. So you can continue to look for these keywords. Talking about negotiators, talking about ADR. So don't limit yourself to just mediation. It's just a name. But what other profession, what other field that you can transfer all the skills that you have learned today in, and you'll be amazed on how many opportunities that are there. There are platforms that you can even put in your profile. Upworks is there. Which one that I'm in again? Your LinkedIn, we have mentioned it. You cannot underestimate the power of LinkedIn. Don't reject free opportunities that, oh, they're not going to pay me. Money is good, but if you don't put yourself out there, how will people know your expertise, that you're good in this area? So volunteer. There are many opportunities that come up on LinkedIn that, oh, they have this training, they have this conference, but it's not paid for. But you can go ahead and put yourself out there that you'll be willing to participate, you'll be willing to be panelist, you'll be willing to be speaker. And through that, we may not get it at the first instance. The fear may come in that, how will I make it? But with time, we will. So create your, there's this other popular, apart from Upworks, I don't know why it's just escaped my mind now, because I had a profile on it as well. So you create your profile. Can anybody remind me? Banker, do you remember? There is this popular job page, but I don't know why it's just going off my mind now. But let's look up, let's write about what you have learned, do video, talk about disputes, and you will know that this will give you visibility. The more you do it, the more you get more experience. And we should not just, okay, I've done this training, I'm going to stop. No, we should be committed to continuous learning. Organization, networking events, that will put us out there, make contributions. And I can tell you that even sky cannot be your limit. Look for a role as conciliator. There are UN opportunities, international opportunities. They are all there. But we have to be intentional. We have to be positive that we will make it. Then let everybody know what you're doing. I think I'll stop there before I take
Thank
you.
you. Thank you very much.
Sorry, before
Eunice
I
is
go, it's
presently,
Fiverr. It's Fiverr that I was trying to
yes,
remember. FIVERR. Try to create your profile
yes.
there, that this is what you do, not just mediation alone. Use ChatGPT to streamline what you have learned. What role? How can you create your own portfolio that this is what you can do, having gone through street training, and you will be amazed that little by little you see that you great traction and start making money. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Eunice, for that opportunity. Eunice is presently in Scotland practicing as, how do you call it? Is it a neutral or what do you call it?
Conciliator. I
Yeah,
practice as a
it's
mediator then.
conciliator, yes. Thank you very much for that wonderful. Now, our final words as we come to an end, please. bear with us. The induction lecture is a very critical part of the induction because you are receiving instruction. Some of you may receive guidelines and direction for what you may be doing in the next 10 years. So don't take it lightly, be serious about it and benefit from what is being said. So on a final note, I will call all the speakers to give us their final words in like few seconds. So Hawa will start with you. You are a specialist in Islamic mediation and arbitration. I don't know if you are there. If you can just give us in few seconds. Some of our participants here are Muslims, and you are an expert in Islamic mediation and arbitration. If you can give us in few seconds, for those of them who may want to chart their career considering their faith, what can they do? Just in few seconds, please.
Okay, thank you again, Nanchan, for inviting me again to speak. And I'll quickly say that just as we have said about the career opportunities available for the new mediators, it's basically the same thing. Within the framework of the 1999 Constitution, we have opportunities for Islamic courts, like the Sharia courts, Sharia Court of Appeal, for instance, and the area courts are there, customary courts are there, and just like every other dispute, commercial, where you have courts that adjudicate on those sectors, these other ones, family mediation is something that they do. You know, I know that in the Kaduna State Multi-Door Courthouse, there is a Sulhu session where they carry out family mediation. So just like you also have opportunities in the regular conventional mediation, this is also available within the space. So people who are interested, mediators who are interested in forging, maybe creating a niche in that sector also can take further trainings as Islamic as mediators within that space. And for us in Islam, mediation is even more encouraged than the court system. There are provisions of the Quran that have talked about explicitly about mediation, especially in family disputes. Also, there are traditional the prophetic traditions that have talked about how prophets have mediated a lot of disputes. So this goes a long way to show you that mediation within the Islamic space is critical, and there are so many opportunities available. Then to talk about the Islamic transaction disputes, which is an area that is growing up, that is fast growing, with the different products that are available from the Islamic banks and the Islamic institutions, financial institutions that are coming up. There is potential for a lot of disputes to come up in that aspect, and people can develop skills through taking trainings. Most of the trainings are actually for now international trainings on arbitration and mediation within that space, and people can also continue to widen and their skills and their knowledge of Islamic of arbitration and mediation within the Islamic finance disputes that are coming up. So various opportunities are available, and for people who want to embark. And to also mention that in as much as we're talking about Islamic, but know that knowledge is available for everyone, and there is no restriction as to who can carry out this, except that you have to be knowledgeable within this piece. So for everyone who want to venture into that, you have to be knowledgeable. You have to know what is the provision of the Quran, what is the provision of the Hadith, what are the standards that are available internationally regarding those aspects, and then the opportunities are
Thank you
just
very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Hawa, for that wonderful and brilliant presentation. Now, your final words, Mr. Adeyemi. I know that you have been promoting, you have been talking about the concept of mediation as a ministry, looking at the Christian perspective. I don't know if you can share with us, maybe within seconds, for those who are interested in taking that and seeing that as a, maybe in few seconds, see how you can motivate the hearts of those who are interested in carrying out mediation as a ministry as it relates to the Christian faith. I don't know if you are with us, Mr. Ademi, as your
Yes,
parting words.
I'm still here.
All right.
Yes, that is what that is difficult to say in just a few seconds. But put it this way, that the Bible encourages believers as much as possible not to take their problems before the civic court, and that as much as possible they should try to settle their matters. And I believe that there is a great opportunity within the church to actually offer, it's good practice to offer mediation. But above all, I want you to understand as mediators that it's a matter of you having your own idea. In Christianity, uh, the Lord Jesus Christ is referred to as the Prince of Peace. And one major thing that mediators are is that we are peacemakers. But one thing I also warn Christian mediators about is that you may come across in a mediation where it is a Christian who is in mediation with a Muslim, or a Muslim in mediation with someone who does not believe in any religion, and vice versa. A Christian with someone who does not believe in any religion. The challenge to us as mediators is the ability to keep your beliefs and your doctrine at the back of your mind. Let it reflect in what you do. And believe it or not, when people talk about emotional intelligence and all of those things, there's nothing in there actually that you cannot find in any of the holy books. Um, in terms of a soft answer turning away wrath, is a blessing that is upon the person who's a peacemaker, and so on and so forth. So I want you to look at your life as a mediator as not just a profession, but as a calling, as a ministry. It is a service you are providing. Yes, you want to make money and you will make money, but please remember that you are doing a lot of good in the lives of people. You are mending relationships, you are reconciling parties, and you are creating an environment for extending relationships for the long term. And that itself has its own fulfillment. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that closing remark. And Mr. Kersi Gupta, do you have any closing remarks for inductees?
Sure, absolutely. I think one thing that the indexees can definitely do is um, volunteer. I think that's something that is said not very often, but the more you volunteer with organizations in doing voluntary mediations, pro bono mediations, the more experience you're going to gather. It's about giving back to the community. You give back to the community, you get 10 times more back to you. um, Plus, as a new mediator, it is going to be hard for you to be getting mediations for bigger cases. um, Volunteering with organizations on pro bono basis also gets you the experience that you need so that you're able to step up to the next level and get big mediation cases. um, Plus, again, it's the fulfillment that you get, as Mr. Adiyami said. um, it's you're making a difference in the lives of the people. um, yes, you're not, as a volunteer, you do not make much money. Some organizations do pay their volunteers, some do not. uh, but you should know, and um, you should be fulfilled enough that you're able to make a difference in the life of other people. while you're volunteering. So I think it's an excellent thing. Volunteer as much as you can during your initial days, right after you get inducted, so that you step up to the next level, so that you can get those big cases.
Thank you very much for that wonderful contribution. Finally, we'll call on the chairman of the governing body of Settlement House, Idea Training Institute, for her remarks. And having listened to all the keynote speaker, the panelists, to give us her final words from all that we have had, so that we can now go into the induction proper, which is not going to take us much time.
Good
Yes, ma'am.
afternoon, everyone, and good evening, good morning, depending on your time zone. Thank you so much to our keynote speaker, our panelists. We're sincerely very, very grateful for your time, for sharing your very rich resources, your time, and taking us through the preparation for the induction. We did not expect anything less than this. I know all the panelists, the keynote speaker, like I've said, we are all working towards the same goal. And you will agree with me that you have taken so much from them. And I want to thank all of them. I want to also thank you for your patience. We will not take so much time in the induction process. Everything that needs to be said has already been said, so I don't need to repeat anything. The only thing I will add is that go out there and showcase your skills. Thank you very much, and do have a wonderful induction.
All right. Thank you very much for that wonderful uh, uh, vote of thanks to all our facilitators, the keynote speaker, and the panelists. We are very, very grateful. Now, coming to the tail end of this induction ceremony, we are going to go into the aspect of the oath taking. The governing chairman of the institute, Your Excellency, ma'am, we have before us uh, trainees from these very institutes who have been trained and are judged worthy to be certified as certified mediators. Please put on your cameras. They have taken the 5 days mediation skills training and certification. They have conducted their role plays almost in all the 5 days of the training. They have presented opening statements, which were assessed, and they have taken their final assessment. And for those who have passed the assessments and are qualified to be inducted, have been notified. And here I present before you people, inductees, and trainees from different spheres of life. We have lawyers mostly, we have accountants, we have um, clergies, we have students, all we have magistrates, we have judges, all are here present. Uh, Your Excellency, ma, the list of the inductees as shared on the platform. I present them before you for uh, the proper induction and their oath taking. Thank you very much, ma. Over to you.
All right. Can we have, can you just pick up your oath form? You were given an oath form. Did you share the oath form to them?
Yes, yes. We've shared the oath
Okay.
form to them.
Can you just, yeah,
Yes,
just display it on the screen?
yes. Okay. Your Excellency, ma, as we display the names of the inductees, kindly note that those that appear on red are those who have not been able to meet the requirements of the institute to be certified mediators.
Okay. Their names ought not to be there for confidentiality purposes. Next time, please don't display the name of anyone who has not met the requirements. Practice what you are teaching. Privacy and confidentiality is very key in our training. So please, can you just
Noted, Your Excellency.
pull down their names and then we give them another trial. There are so many reasons why somebody cannot make it as a sitting. Okay.
Noted, Your Excellency.
All right, so let's have the list. Sorry, let's have the oath form displayed on the screen so that we can take the oath.
Exactly. All right, Your Excellency. Okay. All right. The oath form. Okay. The inductees. Okay. All right.
Can I
we have
confirm that? Okay.
We have the oath form here.
Okay. Please display it here.
I don't know if you can see it, Your Excellency.
Yes, I can see. Thank you.
All right.
Okay. The induction, oath, and affirmation form, it's hereby presented to the 2024 inductees as members and associates of Settlement House Training Institute. I would like you to ponder over what you're going to say because your words are what determines who you are. And we're not just reciting for reciting's sake. It's a commitment. That is why it is called an affirmation. If you go to court and you say you're going to affirm, that means you're saying you want to say the truth, nothing but the truth. So whatever you affirm this afternoon, it's the truth by you, and you're going to walk by what you have affirmed. So I will, at this point, implore you to insert your name. There's a space there, I dash dash dash, as either an associate or a member of Shati. You will read after me. I will take it and then you just repeat after me. In case you don't have the form with you, or you have network issues, because I can see that some people are having problem with the network. So, but if you can hear, if you have problem with the network, you can put off the video and then leave the voice so that we can all go together. So at this point, I would like you to get ready and then insert your name. So and insert your name. Can you hear me?
Yes. Let me. Yes, they can hear you. You can
But I
give
can't hear
us.
them.
Okay. You can.
You can, yes, unmute everybody now.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It's noted. They are allowed. Excellent.
Yes. Okay. Good. Yes.
Sure.
All right. Are we ready?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. We are ready,
Yes, we
ma'am.
are
All
ready.
right. All right. So you insert your name, and then you take it after me. So I
I, Femi
as member,
Esther Lever.
either as member or associate. Let me
Your
have
Excellency,
Victoria
ma'am.
As associate of the Settlement House ADR.
Yes.
Raise their
Settlement
hands.
House. Hold on. Just a minute. Just
A
a minute.
minute.
Just a minute. Just a minute. A minute. Just a minute,
induction.
please.
Your
Just a
Excellency,
minute.
man.
You have
Maybe
to raise up your
they
right
can be
hand.
muted. They can raise their hands and then speak from wherever they are
Yes, please
and
unmute.
read along.
Okay, you can unmute because the noise is shaking behind me. Let me have the form. Can you just display it and then unmute? But the video can be on while you unmute all of us, but raise up your right hand and take the oath.
Unmute all.
Yes, not
It's done. So participants can raise their hands the way I am raising it. And then they can just raise their hands the way I'm raising it. So and then take the oath so that we can have uniformity.
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yeah. So I can now put on the raise your hands.
Put on. Raise your hand and do the affirmation because the noise is much at the background. But you can put on the video so that we can see as many that are taking the affirmation and oath. Are you ready?
Yes, they are.
Please, can you go ahead?
All right. Here is. Okay. Let me share the list of the inductees. Okay. The list of the inductees are as follows. Okay. We have, okay, Your Excellency, we have removed the names of those mentioned, and these are the list of the inductees.
Okay. Let's have a confirmation that their names are all there, and then you go ahead and take the oaths as prescribed.
Okay, so number one on the list is Peace Bolaji Blessing.
No, you don't have to. Mr. Nanchang, you don't have to go through the list. It's already displayed.
Okay.
All I want the
All right.
inductees to do is just confirm your name and the spelling. If it's not correct, just put it at the chat box. Be sure your name is correct and put it at the chat box. Just go through the list, display the list on the screen, and then let's go ahead so that people can go and do other businesses. Yes, what we normally do is to allow you to respond, but because the noise is much and you're many, so just raise your right hand up and then let's go ahead. So let's start from the beginning. I and continue. Let's start. 1, 2, go.
Hey. Yes, I think they are done.
Thank you.
So, yeah, Your Excellency, ma, uh, do you intend to read it out to them?
No, they are done. It's fine. It's fine.
So that they follow? All right.
No,
Okay.
they've already done that.
So,
If you want me to do that, we'll be doing double oath taking. You take oath only once. Okay. All right. I think you can now, you can unmute. Let's have 1 or 2 comments before we close this program. In case there's noise at your background, you can just mute yourself wherever you are. So you can unmute and let me hear their voices.
all right.
Both the video and the voice should be open for everyone. Everyone is. So congratulations once again. You're welcome to the family of ADR, particularly Shati. I believe you have learned so much, particularly with today's address and the voice of wisdom from all our panelists and the keynote speaker. I wish you all the best as you enter into this arena. Mr. Gupta has already said it. The first point of showcasing yourself is doing volunteer work. When you do volunteer work, the people will refer matters to you. Don't wait until a matter is referred to you. Push yourself. In the ADR community, especially for women, we keep saying that keep pushing the doors and keep knocking. They will eventually open. And I wish you all the best. And I believe we will meet physically one day, very soon when we start our conferences and when we start our physical appearances. Thank you very much.
Your Excellency, ma, it is now left for you to officially admit them into the institute as associate members.
Okay, they are all associate members?
Yes.
All right. By the power bestowed upon me as the chairman of the Governing Council, Settlement House Area Training Institute, I, Mrs. Ruskana Galadima Ankama, hereby admit you into Shati as the proficient ADR practitioner and associate of the Institute. I wish you all the best, and I believe you will do your best. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and
Yes,
congratulations.
you can unmute them.
Yes,
Unmute, yes.
they can unmute. Yes, congratulations to all of you.
Yeah, congratulations. Congratulations to everyone.
Congratulations. Congratulations to all of you. And so we will take maybe closing remarks from, we have 3 sets, one from October sets, September sets, one from October set, and one from the November set. So maybe the eldest, possibly among them, each of the sets can give us a closing remark and then what you have to say as we bid you farewell until we meet again. So October set, who are you delegating?
Yes, Mr. Nanchan, don't say the elders, the representative of the sets.
Okay, all right, thank you very much.
Yes.
Okay, so
The
the
representative
representative
of
of
each set.
Yes. So let's start with September set. Who are you delegating? Now, to say from now onwards, you have the power and the right to add after your name the acronyms of the institute. Since you have been inducted as an associate of the institute, you can add after your name a Shati, that's an associate of Settlement House Area Training Institute. Congratulations once again. So September said, who do we have?
I think you need to unmute everybody. Some people are not, we can't hear them. It's like some are not. Unmute
No,
everybody.
everybody can actually unmute.
Okay.
Everyone is allowed a participant to unmute. Okay. Okay, so can you mute? Can you mute and unmute?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
September said.
Yes. So let us have your representatives speak on behalf of your group.
I wish we know our class.
Don't know the class. All right. In that respect, Mr. Nancha, can you just appoint those that are present? You know the different cohorts. Just appoint.
Okay, so let me further subdelegate that power to Mrs. Nanchang, who has been the administrator.
It's okay.
Please appoint from each of the sets, Mrs. Nanchang.
Yes, sir.
Yes, from each of the sets, give us one person to say the closing remark.
Okay. So for September, I think that's Major Abdullah Musa Kasim. Ama.
Is Major Abdullah here? Okay, Major Abdullah, I can't see him. Okay, who else?
Okay. Okay,
Major
so we
Abdullah,
have okay, we have here Diden Namna. I don't know if he's here.
Okay, Mr. Didem.
Yes,
Okay.
I'm here.
Okay,
okay, please, can you give us a close? Go ahead.
No, I think just hold on, Mr. Nanchan. Hold on.
The chairman of the governing board.
Just hold on, sir. Hold on, sir.
Yes.
Can you nominate the 3 persons for the 3 groups so that once the other person is done, the next person?
Okay,
Just
I have
nominate the three.
Blessing Bolaji, then Hadiza Lawal.
Are they present?
Present, I am for the September set.
Okay.
I am the September set.
Okay, can we have the September set go ahead while Mrs. Nancha is sorting out the other sets? September set, please go ahead, sir.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. I thank you, the chairman of the governing
Please, you need
council.
to mute yourself if you are not speaking, please.
The chairman, governing council, our host, Mr. Nancha Nangwam and Mrs. Nancha Nangwam, my colleagues, my fellow associates. Thank you so much. Just like I said from our closing remarks during our training, I said this is not my first time of having a training of this nature, but that of Shati is quite unique, is quite different from the training, the sections and everything. And then having regards to the induction, your own induction is unique as well too. There's no way.
The camera is back online. I'm having network issue. That's why my phone just went off.
Don't worry, Major. We'll still give you time to say something.
Okay.
Yes, go ahead, please. Go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead.
So from all the training, there's nobody that will attend. For me, I attended all the trainings. I don't think I missed up to 5 minutes. If I miss 5 minutes, maybe I'm not too sure. Let's say 5 minutes highest. There's no way you attend Shati training and come back and be the same again. You just assume that, oh, I'm 20-something years called at the bar, 30 years called at the bar, I know everything. But the moment you come for Shati training, you know that, oh, there's a lot to be learned and there's a lot that you have not learned. So thank you, Shati. I pray. I kept on wondering whether when we want to be fellows, there's any other training that we get more than this one again, because I feel this one is like the balm. Thank you. God bless you and continue to do this training. Please don't lower the standard. Keep it up. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Can Major also say something? He lost connection. Is he on track?
Yeah, I'm on track, but I'm driving. I will soon park because my network is roving. So I'll park in the next 1 minute. Then I will answer you, please. If you can get me.
Okay, no, just say a word as you're driving. We can see you're driving. Just say a word, and then if you cut off, we're fine.
Okay. Actually, the first day that I joined up for the training, I was actually amazed with the way things are done in the training, because I was not having interest of joining the training. My mother-in-law made me do that, which I'm already impressed with myself now. Understanding the rules in which both the kinetic and non-kinetic approach in solving issues relating to conflict resolution, that I may be intervened into such issues. But actually, what I want to say now, I will make you guys proud, and soon you people will hear a lot from me as regards to what I've studied during the training. Thank you very much. I'm really, really grateful to be part of the team. And you'll be looking forward maybe to add more to my training when the time due. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. It's our pleasure. Thank you so much.
Yes,
we understand. So you can go ahead with the national assignments. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. After September cohorts?
October
cohort, yes. The representative, I think someone should just volunteer. If you know you are in October cohort, just start by volunteering.
Adiza.
Let's see how you can.
Where is Adiza? Okay, September. So October.
Hello,
October, yes. A volunteer from October, or if Adiza is not online.
I am on, ma'am, but I was part of the September
participants.
Okay, October,
Okay.
please. October
Well, I am
volunteer.
Barrister Damboy. I belong to the October
Okay.
set.
Thank you so much, sir.
I really want to appreciate Shati for the drilling we had. You cannot stop learning. Even the keynote speakers' presentation and other panelists kept on opening our eyes to many things. We want to say we are grateful. We've created a family in the October set. Most of us have started connecting with one another. I remember just 2 weeks ago, I had to meet with 1 or 2 persons and ask them if they were going to mediate over a family issue because of that which we've learned. I am privileged just within a week ago to start applying the mediation technique again in relation to a family conflict that I'm handling. Today, somebody said something. You can introduce African approach to it. Try to clear some jokes. When he talked about David and Goliath thing, he sent a message to me. We are learning every day. I want to say, Shati, we are grateful. We are really, really grateful. And I believe that we will continue to get enriched because I see Nancha posting many things on the platform for us. We had privilege of exposing ourselves more by attending other trainings and mediation courses that is always posting to us. Sir, I'm grateful. And I believe others too are grateful. The Lord will bless Shati. The Lord will continue to widen your course as we become part of this work you are doing. I see it as a ministry. I see it as a ministry. And I believe that God will help each and every one of us to fly the flag of Shati and keep to the oath which we have taken this morning. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you very
sir.
much. The last cohort, volunteer. I'm happy that it's a lawyer that is talking. So we're sending you as an ambassador to the lawyers. That it is not is not drain on your revenue, but an increment to your revenue. So please practice ADR, and then you will still get your fees. Thank you so much. We appreciate you, Mr. Damboy.
All right,
Yes.
so thank you. Dr. Mahmoud can speak for the last set, November set.
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Allow
Good
me to
afternoon,
stand
sir.
on the existing established protocol. My name is Dr. Mahmoud. As directed, I am here to represent the November group. Honestly, I must say, just like the other group said, Nangshan is an association. Shati is an association that is to be reckoned with. Truly, the training that have been given to us is a unique one. I've been attending so many trainings, but this one is like opening our brains and pour in the knowledge and close it up. We really appreciate you, Mr. Nangshan, for giving us this quality training. And we are assuring you, we'll never let you down. The sky is not our limit, but rather is our starting point on ADR practice. By His grace, you will hear us and will continue to be with you. We'll appreciate at any point that you call on us to showcase our practice. We will be available for Shati. Thank you so much. We appreciate Shati, and we appreciate each and every resource person that partook in this training exercise. Thank you so much. God bless you. And for my colleagues, we are on top of it and will continue to network, to work together. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mahmoud.
Yeah.
We're honored to have you submit yourself for training. Yeah. Be our ambassador wherever you are. Mr. Nanchan, you will share the Shati logo with all the participants. I want to see you flood the social media. I am an associate of Shati. So share the logo, put it on your
They have a congratulatory flyer, Your Excellency. Every one of them has a congratulatory flyer.
Please send it and then display it on your status, on your story on Facebook, on your Twitter handle. What is the other one? Twitter. You have
LinkedIn.
your LinkedIn,
LinkedIn.
YouTube. If you have your YouTube page, just display it. Congratulations for your induction as Shati Associates. That is how you showcase yourself. You will be surprised. Somebody will call you, what is Shati? What are they all about? And then you'll be able to explain further what Shati stands for, what you do, and your new status. Don't keep anything to yourself. If you have any difficulty in mediating any matter, always reach out to the Institute. The best way to even go about it is that if you have a mediation, you can reach out to the Institute. The Institute can guide you, just give you more clearance on how to navigate the waters if you're unable to, or we can even appoint a mediator for you in complex matters. But the ones you can handle, please handle them and then share your experience. Not that you will share the story. Confidentiality and privacy is key in mediation, particularly in mediation. So please ensure that you still get the confidence of the people you are dealing with. Thank you so much.
Thank you
So
very much, Your
at
Excellency.
this time, I don't think I'll come back again for any remark. At this time, I will hand over to the CEO so that we can close. We've spent so much time. Once more, congratulations and welcome to Shati.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. It has been an honor serving under you as the chairman of the governing body. These are all the trainees that we have taken time to train in the course of our 3 sets of training, and we have been giving you report. You have seen for yourself the quality there. We thank you for your cooperation and for your guidance thus far. Thank you very much. Now, to the inductees, one thing that you can do to assist the institute is when you are drafting agreements, when you are drafting contracts, you can include the institute. You can include the ADR clause for the institute, so that when there is any dispute, eventually it will be referred to the institute to mediate. When you do that, it means that you are creating an avenue for yourself, because it is the members of Shati who have been trained and certified mediators that will eventually be appointed by the parties to serve as mediators. So do well to include those things, as those who are lawyers, include it in your documents, in your agreements, in your deed of assignments, in agreements for tenancy agreements, among others, and it will go a long way in helping the institute. And you can also prioritize. When we advertise training, you can talk to 1 or 2 persons having confessed that you have attended a unique training. Like Dr. Mahmoud will say, it's as if we open their heads and ensure that we put those things. Yes, quality is our watchword, and we want you to be good ambassadors. We don't want you to be someone who goes out and say, I'm a mediator, and then you do some things that will be contrary to what is expected of you. And that's why we're taking so much time to train you and ensure that you get the process, you get the practicals, and know how you do. Bear with us for the induction ceremony. Most institutions don't do a long induction ceremony. We have brought in those people to give you a matching order and to teach you what you are supposed to do and look out for. So bear with us for the timing. We are very, very grateful for all of you availing your time to be with us to attend the induction. And please be good ambassadors. Encourage others to take advantage of the training. And if there is any further information, we will communicate that. I don't know if Mrs. Nancha has any further information or announcement. If there is none, we can ask Adiza to maybe say one word and then close the ceremony for us with prayers. We have taken the Christian prayers, and then we are going to take the Muslim prayers at the closing. Adiza, is he here? You can take a snapshot, a screenshot. We'll also send you the screenshot of those, what we have done. Share the flyer, share the congratulatory flyer as well, and make everybody know that you are now a certified mediator. Is Adiza here? Lowell, okay. She's not, okay. Who else? We have a male that took the prayer, so we want a female Muslim. Okay, your worship, Naib. Okay, you can maybe give us one word, your closing remark in 1 minute, and then close it for us in prayers. Okay, you are muted. Sorry.
Okay, sorry. I'm grateful for the opportunity, and I believe I speak on behalf of my co-associates. I will not want to go back on the quality of the training we had because we have all experienced it. But I want to assure you and the members of the Executive Council that we are hitting the ground running and we are going to make you proud. Thank you so much for the opportunity. God bless you all. Long live Shati House. And thank you once again. I pray that Almighty Allah blesses the works of our hands and continue to bless us with the wisdom to discharge our duties as associates of this honorable house. And I pray that he continue to bestow upon us the ability to maintain the right path. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Do have a lovely weekend.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. We appreciate.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, if you want to stay back and
Okay, so
network among yourselves,
how can we
greet
get
yourself,
the certificate, sir?
Yes, we are going to share. The certificates are ready for collection for those of you who are close by. Those who are far away will send you the soft copy of your certificates in your mail trains.
Okay, sir. All right, sir.
Okay,
Thank you so much.
What of other ones? The lapel.
Yes. You can
yes, all of them.
For those who are in Jos, we need to meet and then celebrate this place. Let's chat after this program.
Okay, just people remember us in your kingdom.
What happens to those in Kaduna?
Those outside Jos, if you can afford coming, please come.
Those in Kaduna, can we also
you will get all maybe either the certificate or the congratulatory flyer across the platform, and we will now post it on the branch.
All those things. Thank you very much. God bless you.
You can
Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you. God bless. Thank you.
Those in Kaduna can
all those that are in Jos can make arrangements and they will get their packages sent to Jos. Congratulations.
Are there those in
Ghana, you have not said anything.
waving you from Ghana.
Okay, those of us in Jos will communicate to you on how to get our parcels.
Yes, that's good. That's true.
We are voting in Ghana today. We need your prayers.
Okay.
We are voting in Ghana today. We need your
prayers.
Let the best candidate be.
Yes. God will grant you the wishes of your heart. Vote well, go out and vote. Congratulations. So on your induction day, you are going to have a president, so you are not going to forget it. So
I hope the election will not lead to mediation.
No, that would be a better one than litigation. That would be better.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Bye-bye.
All right, congratulations, congrats. Just shout out. Huh?
And I just
Okay, who Gomado? Okay. Gomado.
Really appreciate you, Madam Ankama.
Okay, those in
Thank you.
Kaduna, are you not celebrating? They are asking you. So, if you are celebrating, let us
Yeah,
know.
Kaduna people. I have Kaduna people. We have celebrating in Kaduna. We have in Kaduna, sir.
Okay.
Where are the Kaduna
We are so grateful.
A Ghanaian representative. Can see them. Two of them are here.
Yeah, Ghanaians are here.
Congratulations. When are you inviting us to Ghana? Oh, Onela. That's Rwanda.
Thank you.
Hey, where is Onela? Rwanda.
Hello.
Yeah. Where is Onela?
Innocentia.
Oh, okay. Congratulations to all of us.
Close the door, Mama.
Yeah.
Close the door.
You couldn't stop.
Congratulations once more. Let us see. Next time we will all see. Congratulations. Congratulations.